Hello, everyone. Welcome to the next game in the 1987 American League replay. This is the final game on May the 13th, and it's game number 225 on the playlist as we go through the season. We're in the Metrodome in Minnesota. It'll be Toronto Blue Jays against the Minnesota Twins. Mark Portugal, a right-hander, against Jim Clancy, a right-hander. As usual, the Metrodome is hitter-friendly. Singles 1 to 16 for left, 1 to 13 for right, homers 1 to 11 for both. Portugal enters the game 2-4. Clancy with a record of 5-1. Toronto might have a field day running on Portugal. He is a +9 hold, which makes, no matter who the catcher is, you have Johnny bench catching, you're still going to be a +5. Clancy's a +1, so he's pretty neutral. Toronto enters the game 19-11. Minnesota enters the game 15-17. So we'll go to the Strat-O-Matic computer, get the full numbers on Mark Portugal. He is 2-4 with a 5.46 earned run average, 31 innings pitched, 31 innings pitched, 39 hits, 21 walks, 26 strikeouts. Leading things off will be Tony Fernandez for the Blue Jays. He is crushing it at 359 average. No homers, 6 driven in. He at 322 real world. So Portugal getting his warm-up tosses in as Tony Fernandez steps to the plate. Hello, midlife. Good to see you. Reason I had a slight hiccup when the game first started is I did not realize Uncle Ron was going to be going on at noon. So I was going to start my game at noon. And then I said, well, maybe I shouldn't play it since he's on there. But then I thought, why not? I mean, I need to play this game on my schedule. I can't. If we cross over, so be it. People can watch who they want. But I already put it out there that I was going to play this game, so I need to go ahead and keep to that commitment. So that's why we're going now. So not trying to be difficult or anything for anybody, any other streamer out there, but just got to do what I got to do. All right, here's Tony Fernandez. You can always watch on the replay. It's the beauty of the thing. I mean, you don't have to watch it live. Here's Tony Fernandez against Portugal. 5'4", switch hitter batting left, is a fly ball center field X. Well, they got Kirby out there. He's a 1, so you know he's going to get to it. Now it's just the E6. That's all he's got to avoid is the E6. And that is an 8, so that should be okay. Should be in the operative word. We'll get the center fielder chart out there for an E6, and that is an 8. Center fielder E6, there is no 8, so Kirby is able to make the play and retire Fernandez out number 1. 1 away. Hey, do what you like there, midlife. You know, like I said, I just started the original setup when I realized when his thing came on my phone. Usually I see something on his Facebook page says we going today or any day or whatever. So since I didn't see anything, I just figured he wasn't going to play a game today and just got caught in it. So, oh well, it is what it is. Here's Rob Ducey, the right fielder for the Blue Jays. He is hitting .214. It's only 1 out of 14. No homers, 1 driven in. He hit 188 real world. The asterisk on the stealing means if they don't hold him, he gets the lead automatically. He doesn't have to roll for it, if that was your question. If they have an asterisk, that means if you don't hold them, they get the lead automatically and they go for that big number. That's why it's always important. Hello, Ronnie. Good to see you. I was doing that quite a bit. I was listening when I was driving for a living. I was listening to a lot of guys do their thing. All right, here's Ducey. 4-7, and that's a base on balls off Portugal. So Rob Ducey will draw the walk. And again, he is a 6 to get the lead. If they don't hold him, he will automatically get that 20, and it's an automatic steal, pretty much. So they will hold him on. So he needs a 6 to get the lead. Does not get the lead. So he will stay there. And here is Lloyd Mosby, one of the few Blue Jays. I'm sorry, it's Upshaw that's struggling, not Mosby. Mosby's hitting .299, 7 homers, 27 driven in. He's definitely not struggling. 3-3. That's ballpark single, and that's good news at the Metrodome. 1-16, but that's an 18. So even with the friendly confines, that is not going to work out. So that will be a line drive to second base for out number 2. And it brings up George Bell. Bell on the replay is hitting .250 in 116 at bats, 9 homers, 26 driven in. He hit .308 in the real season. Nothing on the Havoc. Here's Bell. 3-9 for Bell, and that is a pop up to first, and that's going to end the inning. So Portugal pitches around the 1-out walk and gets through unscathed. We go to the bottom of the first. It is Toronto 0, and the Twins coming to bat. And coming to bat, or coming on the mound rather, will be Jim Clancy. He is 5-1 on the replay with a 3.47 earned run average, which is very close to his real life 3.54. So he's pitching right where he should be. He's just getting some run support. That's why the win-loss record is what it is. 47 innings pitched, 48 hits, 12 walks, 38 strikeouts. As far as I know, midlife, you can steal whenever the hell you want, but I play it where you got to get the lead in Super Advanced. People can play it as they wish, but if the guy has an asterisk and you don't hold him, he gets the lead automatically. You don't even have to roll for it. That's why you have to hold the guy. All right, here's Lombardozzi, the leadoff man. He is hitting .279, 2 homers, 11 driven in. 3-7, and that is a strikeout. Lombardozzi out on strikes. The beauty about Strat-O-Matic is you can homebrew things the way you wish, tweak things the way you wish. A lot of people play a hybrid version of Super Advanced mixed with Advanced or whatnot, so you can handle steals however you wish. Hello, Tim. Good to see you. Oh, Jim Clancy passed. Oh, another one passed away. Wow, we're just. Well, this is not a tribute game. That he was on the schedule, so. No, you don't have to steal. There's no rule that says you have to steal. The only way you have to steal is if you attempt the lead and get it. If you attempt the lead and get it, then you have to steal. But there's no rule book that says a runner has to steal because he has an asterisk by his name. That's not in the rule book. I know that for a fact. All right, here's Randy Bush. 224 average, 2 homers, 9 driven in. It's a 1-9, and that's a split chance. 1 to 8's a double. That's a 1. It'll be a double for Randy Bush. Or as Chris Berman called him, Randy Bird in the hand Bush. So Bush is on. He will not be held at second base. And that'll bring up Kirby Puckett. Nothing on the Havoc. Puckett on the replay, hitting .306, 4 homers, 12 driven in. 4-3 against Clancy. It's a ballpark single again with the Metrodome being favorable. It's a 1-13, and that will be a base hit by Kirby. And that's going to put runners at the corners with only 1 out. And now Kirby has a chance to get the lead 4-6. But if I decided not to hold him, he's not compelled to steal because he has an asterisk. That's not part of the rule book. That's a 5, so now he is compelled to steal because I went for the lead and I obtained it, so now he has to steal. He has no choice. 15 being held to 13, plus 1's a 14. 1 to 14, he's in there, and he is. Stolen base, that takes a double play out of the equation as Kirby Puckett gets the steal. Second and third with 1 out for the dangerous Kent Herbeck. Infield for the Blue Jays. They're going to play back because they figure it's going to be some runs scored in this game. They don't want to give up a big inning. They'll give up the 1. They don't want to give up the 2 on a drawn-in infield. So they will go ahead and pitch to Herbeck and play the infield back. Herbeck, 289 average, 10 homers, 26 driven in. It's a 6-9, and that's a single. Didn't matter how they were playing. That's a single to left field. Scoring is Bush. Left fielder arm, George Bell, is a -2. Puckett, a 17, not being held as a trail runner. It makes him an 18, but the -2 is a 16. 1 to 16, do they send him? Yes, they will. 1 to 16, they will send him. Bell will throw through, but Herbeck is so slow, I'm not going to allow him to take second base. So 1 to 16, and he's in there. So it's a 2-run single for Kent Herbeck, and the Twins take a 2-0 lead. Like I said, the beauty of Strat, you can homebrew things you like. The only thing that's probably a good idea is to play it consistently. Let me get the rule book out here. I had it a second ago. Did I put it back? Yeah, put it back here. Hold on. Let's take a look here. Since we're on the subject of stealing, let's take a look. Super advanced stealing. Super advanced, can't speak. Super advanced stealing. Okay. The player who steals off, this is in rulebook 23.11. So it's good diversion. Thank you for that, Midlife. Good diversion. Players who steal often have an asterisk in front of their good lead range. The asterisk indicates that the defensive manager does not elect to hold the runner automatically achieves his good lead. If the runner does not have an asterisk, or if he has an asterisk but is held on base, he must roll the 2 colored dice to get the lead. Okay. Okay. Supplementary, blah, blah, blah. If the runner attempts to achieve his good lead and succeeds, he must attempt to steal immediately. There it is. Rulebook page 9, 23.2. If he achieves his good lead and succeeds, he must attempt to steal immediately. So there it is in black and white. No ambiguity whatsoever on that one. 23.2, page 9. Chapter and verse on Strat-O-Matic. Now, you can homebrew it to be differently, but if you're going straight by the rule book clearly states that once he achieves the lead, he has to go. You can't turn around and change your mind. So why would you? I don't know why you would. I mean, if he's got an asterisk, it means he's a good base stealer to begin with, and if he gets the lead, why wouldn't you want to go? But I don't know what the reason would be that you wouldn't want to, but hey, that's just the way it is. All right, here's Gary Gaetti. Hitting 258 on the replay, 6 homers, 28 driven in. And by chance, he's hitting 257 real world. So he's right on his mark. And Herbeck at first not being held. 6'10", that's a catcher X. We're looking at the catcher, Ernie Witt. He's a 2E2. 2E2 for Ernie Witt. 2E2 for Ernie Witt. 2 and a 4. 2 and a 4 is a W/G. And that's a 16. That could be problems. 2, there's no 16, though. So there's no error on the play. It's a W/G. And a W/G, I believe, is a wild pitch, but I will confirm. With runners on, the pitcher. Oh, that's a rare play. My bad. With runners on base, the pitcher uncorks a wild pitch. Plain and simple, when you get a W/G, it's a wild pitch. So Herbeck will take second base on the play. Hello, Roger. Good to see you. All right, so the wild pitch will send. Well, Midlife, hopefully now it's a little more clear. I know, believe me, I know the Strat-O-Matic rulebook is not the most succinctly written rulebook in history, and it took me a long time to get the super advanced rules down and steals down. I still don't have them all down. I still got to reference some stuff, but through experience, I've gotten better at it, but not perfect at it by any means. Here's Gaetti. It's a 6'9", and that is a 1 to 14 single. That'll be a base hit. The ballpark effects come in again. It's only 1 star, so Herbeck has to stop at third base. So runners are at the corners. Hello, Jimmy Jam. Runners are at the corners with only 1 out for the designated hitter, Roy Smalley. He's hitting 275 in 69 at bats, a homer and 13 runs driven in, and it just so happens he hit 275 real world. So he's right on pace once again. A lot of guys are way off pace, but at least he's on the pace. Gaetti's not going to be held at first base. He doesn't run well. Nothing on the Havoc. Twins playing for the double play. Try to get out of the inning. 5-7, switch hitter batting left. That's a ground ball shortstop X. Chance for the double play because Fernandez is a 1. So it's a good chance they might be able to turn the double play and get out of the inning. 1 and 12 will definitely be a double play opportunity as long as there's no error. A 1 and a 12 is a G1. E17 at shortstop for Fernandez. His error chances are 15, 16, and 17. That is a 14, so he got by with it, and it will be a 6-4-3 double play to end the inning. Twins do get 2, but thanks to the double play, they minimize the damage to just the 2. At the end of 1, it's Twins 2 and Blue Jays nothing. Portugal back out. Yes, yeah, Jimmy, I was told. I didn't realize that, but I was told he did die. I think it was last week, somebody said. Obviously, he's not a big-name pitcher, so it wasn't headlines like it was for Bernansky. I mean, for Sandberg. But let's see. Did somebody say up here? Yeah, last week. Ronnie said he passed away last week. I don't know what day or what his complication was, whether he had been ill or whether it was sudden. I don't know. Don't even know his age. I didn't know he passed away, so it's news to me. Sorry to hear that. But as we get older, the ball players we grew up watching are going to start to get to that age where they start passing away. It's just a cycle of life. It's going to happen. Here's Ernie Witt. He's hitting 284 on the replay. 3 homers, 11 driven in. 3-5, and that is a ground ball to second where Lombardozzi handles it. No problem. 1 away. A limited schedule on the May 14th block, only 4 games instead of 7, so it won't take as long to play May 14th. Some teams will have off. Minnesota and Toronto do play on May 14th, so they won't have an off day. In fact, it'll be Dave Steve against Les Straker. That'll be the pitching matchup in that game. Here's Upshaw, one of the few Blue Jays who is struggling, hitting 202, no homers, 7 driven in, and he hit 244 real world. That's a 310, and that's a ball. Not a ball, but that's a clutch single, but we're not in a clutch situation, so the single is good. So Upshaw, who could definitely use a hit, got one. He could steal, but the numbers to the right of the slash, 9 and 10, means if we roll a 9 or 10 while obtaining the lead, he is automatically caught stealing or picked off, whatever you want to call it. I call it pick off. But we'll try it and see what happens. Because you can't ignore that +5 on Portugal. I mean, that's just too tempting not to try it. So they're going to try to get the lead. That's a 9, so he is picked off. Some people call it caught stealing. I call it picked off. You can homebrew it how you wish it. I don't know that the rule book specifically gives a answer on that, so I just call it picked off because he's trying to obtain the lead. I mean, you could say he got picked off and tried to run for second, but I usually say he's out trying to slide back into the bag. But again, it's all what you want. All right, so let me fix this here. I did not do that correctly. Let me get this pick off correct on the computer. There we go. So that'll bring up McGriff, the designated hitter. He's hitting 242, 6 homers, 11 driven in. Base is now empty. 6-9 to the left-hander is a strikeout. First strikeout of the game for Portugal. And the Blue Jays get a 1-out single, but the pickoff or caught stealing, whatever you want to call it, took away the momentum, and it's still a 2-0 ball game in favor of the Twins. Here's Clancy, going to be facing Bernansky, Laudner, and Gagne, top of the order or bottom of the order. Bernansky hitting 277 on the replay, 4 homers, 11 driven in. He hit 259 real world. 1-9, and that is a base on balls. First walk issued by Mr. Clancy. Bernansky has the asterisk again, but an 8 or a 12, he gets caught stealing. And he's a 15 with a +1 makes him a 6. So it'll be a 1 to 14. You know what? They're going to try it. Can't have 2 guys picked off in a row. The odds can't be that bad. 6, he gets the lead. So he will get the lead, which means he has to go. 15 -2 for being held to 13, +1 to 14. So 1 to 14, he will steal it, Mr. Bernansky. And he's in there. Stolen base for Bernansky. That's how you get these low stolen base total guys, some steals is against these favorable pitcher hold matchups. All right, so Bernansky steals the base. He's at second base with nobody out for Tim Laudner. Laudner, the catcher, hitting a .148, 2 homers, 6 driven in. He hit a .191 real world. He's only had 27 at bats, but he does have 2 home runs already, but very limited duty. Clancy to Laudner, 2-7 is a strikeout. That's out number 1. Strikeout number 2 for Clancy. And that'll send up the number 9 man, Greg Gagne, shortstop. Gagne hitting .308 on the replay, doing very well in 78 at bats. 2 homers, 10 driven in. He had .265 real world. Bernansky not being held at second. 1-9, and that doesn't matter if he's being held or not. He's going to score. 1-10's a triple. That's a 6. So Greg Gagne had 7 triples on the season. He gets one right here, and that's his second triple of the season. He had 7 real world. That's his second one. It's an RBI triple, and the Twins now lead it 3-0. So Clancy having his issues. And now the infield will come in with 1 out. They don't want to give up a cheap run if they can avoid it. Here's Lombardozzi. Clancy struck him out his first time up. 1-7. He's going to strike him out again. Big strikeout for Clancy. He needed that one. Now there's 2 outs, and the infield can go back to normal for Randy Bush. But Bush is a tough hitter. Not an easy out by any means. It is a clutch situation. In the clutch, he gains a hit on 3-3 and 3-10. So he gets that little extra boost. But it's a 5-11, which is a fly ball right field X. That's Barfield. I'm sorry, it's Ducey. I'm used to seeing Barfield. Barfield's on the bench. It's Ducey, 2-0-5, 2 and an E5. Hello, Mr. Gudeman. I like your idea about the radio call, by the way. I didn't make a comment on the video, but count me in. If you want to try that, I'd be more than happy to listen to it and try to get the zen or the ambiance of a radio broadcast. That would be pretty cool, I think. All right, so a 2E5 for Ducey. That's a 2 and a 7. 2 and a 7 is an F2, but the F2 means it's a sacrifice fly. Well, no, I'm sorry, the 2 outs, it can't be a sacrifice fly. So he would get to it, but we're checking the E5. E5, he has to avoid 4, 14, and 18. He does that, so it's a fly out to right field to end the inning. It would have been a sac fly if there had been less than 2 outs, but the RBI triple from Gagne puts the Twins ahead 3-0 after 2 innings of play. I know Bittaker had just recently, I've heard about him recently passing away. He was definitely a marginal pitcher. Hello, Casmo. Good to see you. All right, so top of the third, Twins leading 3-0. Blue Jays have their work cut out for them. Kelly Gruber will lead off. On the replay in 57 at bats, he's hitting .333 with 3 homers and 9 driven in. He only hit .235 real world, so he's really out there above his skis right now. 5-10, and that's an in-home run chance straight off Portugal's card. He has normal power. You don't check a D20. That's gone. That's clean as a baby's butt, as they say. 10 is an in-home run chance. He's got normal power. It's gone. Kelly Gruber puts the Blue Jays on the board. That is home run number 4 for Kelly Gruber. RBI number 10. So he's got in 58 at bats, he's got 4 home runs. That's pretty good pace. That'll bring up Garth Clockwork Orge, second baseman, and he will be stepping to the plate. He's only hitting a .152 in 33 at bats. No homers, 7 driven in. He hit .210 real world. 2-8, and that is a ground ball to short. And Mr. Gagne will take care of that, 1 away. So if you're a Chris Berman fan, that was a Garth Clockwork Orge grounding to Greg Gagne with the spoon. So you can get all kinds of little names going there. Here's Tony Fernandez. 5-9, switcher to batting left. That's an in-home run chance on a 1-5. That's an 11. It'll be a double for Tony Fernandez. And back come the Jays. Don't count them out. Tying run now at the plate in Rob Ducey. Ducey walked his first time. Fernandez not going to be held at second base. 1-6, and that's a walk, so that will put runners at first and second. It does set up a double play if you want to look at the silver lining. But as I said before, Jerry Garcia and the Grateful Dead said every silver lining has a touch of gray. So be careful about those silver linings. And the light at the end of the tunnel just might be a train. Lloyd Mosby lined out to second his first time up. 2-5 for Mosby. That's a ground ball, second base A. The infield was not in. It's regular depth, so that's going to be a double play. And there you go. That's what the I was talking about by setting up the double play, meaning the walk wasn't the worst thing in the world. And Mosby accommodated by grounding into said double play. But the Blue Jays do get on the board on the home run off the bat of Kelly Gruber. So at the end of 2.5, it's Minnesota 3 and Toronto 1. Clancy back out. He'll be facing Puckett, Herbeck, and Gaetti. Clancy's had a rough 2 innings. Probably fortunate to only be down 3-1. He has not pitched well at all. 2-4 for Puckett. Ground ball to third, and this time Gruber will make the play. And that's a good start for Mr. Clancy. To bring up Herbeck, he had the 2-run single in the first inning. 6-9, and he's going to get another base hit right here. He's 2 for 2. That one off the Clancy card. He will not be held, so no threat of stealing or anything. Gary Gaetti stepping to the plate. That's a 1, so it's possible wild pitch on Clancy. His wild pitch rating is a 10. And 12, so it's blocked by Mr. Witt. So we continue. 4-11, right-handed. Ground ball pitcher X. He's an E12. Now, the cards don't give his error rating. I got to go to the computer for that. Computer says he's a 2 range, so he's a 2E12. 2E12, possible chance for a double play if he can get a good roll in the D20. And, of course, the double die comes up with a 3. Nothing surprising there. 2 and a 3 for a pitcher is a G3, so at least he'll be able to get an out as long as there's no error, but the runner will advance. That's a 6, so I don't think he'll make an error on an E12 with a 6. Actually, he will. I spoke too soon. E12, there's a 6 sitting right here. Plain as day, a number 6 is right here. So not only do they not get the double play, they don't even get an out. It's an E1 on Clancy. And that's going to put runners at first and second, and that's his own doing. He has no one to blame but himself. Maybe they can turn a double play. Smalley hit into a double play in the first inning. They're looking to see if he can do it again. Smalley, a slow runner with a 9 run rating. Got some ground ball A's on that card. 6-7, though, we're under Clancy. 1-8's a line drive single. 9-20 is a line out to second. That's a 13, so he lines it to Orge. Everyone freezes. 2 down. And now it's a clutch situation for Tom Bernansky. He walked and stole a base his first time up. Clancy trying to put a goose egg on the board for the first time. 6-5, and that's a fly to center field. He did it. Mosby hauls it in, and Clancy finally gets out of it unscathed, so the error did not cost him. At the end of 3, it is 3-1. Favor the Twins. And now Toronto trying to cut into that lead. Mark Portugal's fatigue is only a 5, so 2 more innings. He'll be looking for fatigue checks. Right now it's George Bell. Popped to first his first time up. It's 2-3, and that is a fly to center field. 1 away. Ernie Witt, the catcher. 6-10, and that is a walk against Portugal. So Ernie Witt will draw the base on balls. He, of course, will not be held. That is the 3rd walk issued by Portugal already. But, again, it sets up a double play. You want to look at the positives. Here's Upshaw. 5-6. That's a strikeout. So no double play, but he'll take the strikeout. His 2nd strikeout of the game to go with the 3 walks. And now 2 outs and Witt at first for the crime dog, Fred McGriff. struck out his first chance. 2-7, and he will draw a walk. That's the 4th walk issued by Portugal. So some control issues going on. And that'll bring up Kelly Gruber. It is now a clutch situation for Gruber. Clutch situation for Gruber. And in the clutch, looking at his card, he loses a hit on 2-3. And he also loses a hit on 3-8 and 3-9. So he is definitely anti-clutch. So let's see what Portugal can do with Gruber. 6-9. It's a ground ball to second, and that's going to end the inning as Lombardozzi throws him out. So Portugal pitches around those couple of walks and gets out of it no problem. Go to the bottom of the 4th. It's still 3-1 in favor of the Twins. Home cooking at the Metrodome. And Tim Laudner, the bottom of the order, coming up for the Twins. It'll be Laudner, Gagne, and Lombardozzi due up. Laudner, first time up, struck out. 1-8, and he will ground it to short. So not quite a strikeout there. Almost a strikeout. 1-7 would have been a strikeout. But he's out of there. Either way, Tony Fernandez makes the play. No problem. Here is Greg Gagne. Hello, Chuck. Good to see you. Gagne had a RBI triple his first time up. 6-6, and he's going to strike out. So Clancy gets the K. And Clancy, that'll be his 4th strikeout. He's trying to keep the Twins close so that the Blue Jays bats can come alive and catch up. Here's Lombardozzi. He struck out twice. 0-2. 3-3, and not anymore. That's a 1-3 triple, 4-20 single. Base hit for Steve Lombardozzi. 2-out single. Let's see. Not really a threat to run. They will go ahead and hold him on, but I don't think it's going to be much of a threat to run. Hello, Colin. Here's Randy Bush. Bush, 1-2. That's a 4-4. Ground ball third base X. That's going to be Gruber. He's a 3E24. So Gruber needs to make this play to get the Blue Jays out of the inning. 3-2. The Devil Die does it to him again. 3-2 is going to be a base hit. It's going to be 2 stars. So that will send Lombardozzi to third base. And now we're checking for an error. That's a 10, so it's not likely to be an error. E24. Don't see many 10s on the error chart. So there's no error on the play, but it is runners on the corners with 2 outs. So a 2-out rally. Bush has to be held because he can get the lead if he doesn't. But they're not going to send him, not with Puckett up. You don't want to take the bat out of Puckett's hands. So they'll hold Bush on, but he won't go anywhere. And here's Puckett. Chance to increase the lead for the Twins. 3-3, and that is a ground ball to third. That will end the inning. Yeah, Chuck, I did not know that Clancy had passed away. This was on the schedule, so it just worked out that way. This is not meant to be a Clancy memorial game or whatever you want to call it. Just this is the first time hearing about it. I did not know he had passed. But hey, if it serves that side purpose, all the better. All right, so here's Portugal, and this is his fatigue inning. He's a number 5, so keep an eye on fatigue. Garth Ord's your batter. It's a 5-4, and that's a ground ball third base X. That's Gaetti. He's a 1, so you know he's going to get to it. We're just checking the E12, and for a third baseman in E12, he's basically got to avoid 12 and 16. That's it. 13, boy, he just did avoid it. So a nice play by Gaetti. Takes care of Orge. 1 away. Flip the order over to Tony Fernandez. Doubled his last time up, but was stranded on base. 3-7, and that's a fly to center. Puckett runs it down. 2 down. Portugal looking to keep full endurance into the 6th. Here's Ducey. He's walked twice. 5-8. Not going to walk this time. That's a 1-12 double. That's a 7. It's a double. 2-out double for Ducey. Now the tying run comes to the plate in the form of Lloyd Moseby. Moseby on the season has 7 home runs, so he's definitely capable of going deep. They will not hold Ducey, second base. 4-9, and look at this, ballpark blast, might be right on time. He's got normal power, 1-11, and that is an 11. It is gone. At one point, I thought about doing a homebrew about robbing home runs if the 11 goes in the 11. I think that is a robbing the home run thing, but that's one of the rules I don't play on this is robbing home runs. So, but I think this would qualify if we were robbing home runs, assuming, that's a big assumption, but assuming, and I don't think with that big baggy in right field that you can rob home runs. I think you have to be in center or left field. Probably just center. I think left field was too high with the plexiglass. I think Puckett only robbed home runs in center field. But nobody's robbing this one. It's gone. Lloyd Moseby, a 2-run home run. We got a tie ball game. 3-3. Lloyd Moseby, home run number 8 on the replay for Moseby, and RBIs 28 and 29. And we are all tied up. How about that? 2 outs, base is empty, and they come out with a 2-out rally, a double and a home run. Here's George Bell. Bell, 4-4, and that's a catcher X, but nobody's on base, so you can't have a pass ball or anything. Laudner, a 3-4. 3-12 is probably, might be a pop out or something. Let's see. 3-12 is a foul out, most likely. But that is a 14, so we got to check an error rating. He's an E4. There is no 14, so it's going to be a foul out to Laudner to end the inning, but the 2-run home run off the bat of Lloyd Moseby has tied this game. We go to the bottom of the 5th. Portugal has a little bit of endurance left, but not much. Bottom of the 5th, tied at 3. Still waiting for my Strat-O-Matic no-hitter, Chuck. I've come close, but so far History Maker Baseball has produced my only no-hitter. I'm still waiting for a cycle, too. I've never had that in any game. Still waiting for that. I got my triple play the other day. That was pretty cool in the Sandberg game. But still waiting for the cycle and a Strat-O-Matic no-hitter. Haven't got it yet. Probably won't happen in 87. There's just too much offense in 87. I have to probably do something from the 60s or 70s to get a no-hitter. 6-5, left-handed, fly ball to left. George Bell is there, and Herbeck is out of there. Need lots of luck as well. Hello, DJ from the left coast. Gaetti, 3-5 against a right-hander, is going to be a ground ball to third. And Gruber will handle it. 2 down for Roy Smalley, designated hitter. He's hitting to a double play and line to second. 4-7, switch hitter batting left. Ground ball second base X. Orge is a 4E13. So that 4 is pretty ominous, especially with that double die. And again, double die pretty low with a 6. See if he can pull this off. I don't think he can. 4 and a 6 is a single. That's a 13, and he is a 13. 13 and a 13. There's no error. There's a 14 there, but no 13. So he can't quite get to it on the AstroTurf. It sneaks past him. And Smalley will get himself a base hit. He will not be held. He's one of the slower runners in the league. Here's Brunansky. Let's see, Brunansky 5-10 on Clancy is a ballpark single check to 1-13, so that's going to be a base hit. Another base hit courtesy of the Metrodome. It's only 1 star, first and second, 2 down, so the Twins looking for 2-out magic. Has Tim Laudner at the plate in a clutch situation. He will gain a hit on 2-5 and on 3-3, so a little bit better in the clutch than normal. See if he can find those rolls, take advantage. 4-9, we're off Clancy, but that's going to be a good thing for Laudner. 1-3 is a triple. That's a 19. It'll be a single 2 stars, and the Twins have reclaimed the lead. All this with 2 outs and nobody on. Tim Laudner, a RBI single. Bernansky will motor to third. And the Twins lead it 4-3. That's the 11th hit for the Twins already. Blue Jay bullpen is active and loosening. Here's Gagne. 1-5, and that's a base on balls. It's going to load the bases. The bases are loaded for Lombardozzi with 2 outs. All this started with 2 outs, and the base is empty. A seemingly innocent single that Garth Orge couldn't get to, a single by Bernansky, a single by Laudner, and now a walk to Gagne. Bases loaded, 2 outs. That's a 2, chance for a balk or a pass ball. We're looking at a balk chance on Clancy. His balk rating is a 2. No balk, so no balk to worry about. 2-9 for Lombardozzi. He's going to pop it up to Fernandez at short to end the inning, but the Twins do reclaim the lead, and at the end of 5, it is Minnesota 4 and Toronto 3. Portugal is going to start the inning, but the bullpen for the Twins is active since he is on the verge of being fatigued. It's going to be Witt, Upshaw, McGriff, 3 lefties in a row. Look at the Twins bullpen. I'll tell you who they have on their roster that's available. You have righties Keith Atherton, George Frazier, Juan Berenguer, and the closer Jeff Reardon, and the lefty Joe Klink. So it looks to me, let me look on the computer and see who needs the work. I don't want to overwork one guy. So let's make sure we're not overworking anybody. Let's see here. Keith Atherton, Frazier. Frazier is the most rested, so George Frazier is loosening in the bullpen for the Twins in case Portugal runs into problems. So here's Ernie Witt. 0 for 1 with a walk. 4-6, and that's another walk. Right on cue. So Portugal getting themselves into trouble with these free passes. Can't keep doing that and hanging around very long. That is walk number 5. Of course, Witt will not go anywhere. Here's Willie Upshaw. He's 1 for 2. It's a 3-6, and that is a single to center field. Witt really slow. You're not going to run on Puckett's -4 arm, so station to station right there, first and second. And now Portugal is tired. He has reached fatigue. Fred McGriff is your scheduled hitter. They'd love to be able to use Klink, but I think they've overused Klink. He's the only lefty, so let me check Klink's numbers here and see if he's got usage issues or whether he's okay. Yeah, he's been overused. So we're not going to use Klink. They're going to bring in George Frazier. Portugal will leave and Frazier will enter. Not the Frazier from the Thrilla in Manila, but a different Frazier. He's a hold of +5, so again, not going to help the cause there. Portugal is going to go 5+, could not get any outs in the 6th, and we'll go to the computer and get the rest of his totals without the runs because you can't do those yet because they are on base, pending. Portugal, 5 innings pitched, 6 hits. So far, 3 runs, all earned, 5 walks, 2 strikeouts. Those 5 walks really cut into his productivity. So Fred McGriff will be the leadoff man for Frazier. We'll get the numbers on Frazier on the replay via the Strat computer as Portugal heads to the showers. Frazier on the replay is 0-0 with no saves, a 6.61 earned run average. 16 innings pitched, 21 hits, 9 walks, 12 strikeouts. He had a 4.98 real world, 6.61 in the replay. So he's struggling just a tad. But they love for him to throw a ground ball double play right here. .26 for McGriff, and that's a walk, and that's going to load the bases. So more free passes are dooming the Twins pitching staff. They're going to catch up to you eventually. And right now the bases are loaded with nobody out. They're going to play for the double play. They need outs. They'll gladly trade a run for 2 outs right now. They got to get some outs. Trying to get Gruber to hit into a double play. Gruber's homered and grounded to second. 6-7, and that's another walk. So Frazier walks in a run. That will tie the ball game at 4. Base is still loaded and still nobody out for Garth Orge. Frazier may not have been the answer. Or if he was, nobody knows what the question was. 4-9, and that's a strikeout, a huge one for Frazier. He needed that. Now a double play would get him out of the inning, but Fernandez is a tough guy to double up. Yes, indeed, 60. If anybody's under 70, I figure it's too early. If I can make it to 70, I'll be happy. Put it that way. Got 10 more years to go for that. So if I can make it there, and then I pass away, I'm good. I would like to make it through my 60s, if possible. 6-9, and that's trouble. 1's a double, anything else is a single. It's a single, 2 stars for Fernandez, and the Blue Jays have taken the lead. 2 of the runs are charged to Portugal. He could actually suffer the loss. If the Twins don't come back and tie this game, he would be the losing pitcher. So George Frazier unable to get the job done. And that brings up Ducey. Runners on the corners. Fernandez is a threat to run. Can't just wash him away, in particular that +5 hold rating. That's pretty juicy. So he needs a 6 or a 7 to get the lead. He gets a 7, he will get the lead. That's an 18. Being held is a 16, but then the +5 is a 21. 19 is the most you can have. Laudner's got a T8. They're just going to let him steal. They're not going to risk the throwing error. So Fernandez will steal second base without a throw. And that brings up Rob Ducey. Takes a double play out of the equation as well. The infield has to come back in again for Ducey. We had that double in the previous inning that sparked the 2-run inning for the Blue Jays at that point. 1-6, and he will draw another walk. So, boy, we just can't find the strike zone around here. It's going to load the bases. Bases are loaded for Lloyd Moseby. And you know what? They're going to pull Frazier. They can't go with Frazier anymore. You just can't find the strike zone. You got to find somebody who can find the strike zone around here. And let's see. They're going to try Keith Atherton, see if he can do it. So Atherton will be the new pitcher. And we can close the book on Portugal. He gave up the 2 runs there, so that's actually 5 runs allowed in 5+ innings. Atherton a 0 hold, so 0 here on stolen bases, but that may not matter the way this game is going. We get the numbers on Atherton on the replay as down goes Frazier, you could say, as he just didn't have it. Keith Atherton on the replay, 1-2 with 2 saves, a 4.79 earned run average. He had a 4.54 real world. 21 innings pitched, 16 hits, 4 walks, 20 strikeouts. Bases are loaded with only 1 out, and Moseby, who homered his last time up, is at the plate. Infield still looking for that double play. 1-8. Look at this. 1-15 is a home run. That's a 7. It's gone. A grand salami for Lloyd Moseby. He greets Keith Atherton with a grand slam. Home run 1-8, 1-15. That's a 7. And home run number 9 for Lloyd Moseby. RBI number 6 in the game. Obviously, he's going to be the player of the game. Don't see any way that changes. And 4 of those runs are charged to Frazier, who went a third of an inning, gave up 4 runs. Terrible, terrible for Frazier. He walked 3 and struck out 1. Never gave up. I gave up 1 hit. So grand salami for Moseby. Home run number 9. RBIs 30. 31, 32, and 33. Hello, Canadian. Good to see you. So the Blue Jays laying waste to the Twins now. It's 10-4. Good buddy. Get your CB radios out. It's 10-4. And the Blue Jays are going to bat around because there's only one out. So I have to move my columns over. They will bat around. And as the home team, the Twins have to pitch all 9 innings. So we could see a position player pitch in this game before it's all said and done. George Bell, the only player not to bat this inning so far. 2-7 for Bell, and that's a single, so the hit parade continues. And the Blue Jays can't find anybody that can get somebody out. Here's Ernie Witt. He started the whole inning off with a walk last time. 6-10 left-handed. That's an in-home run chance, 1-15. He's got normal power, but that's a 17. So that's going to revert to a triple for Ernie Witt. He did have 1 triple real world, but he's already had 1 triple now. So I'm going to take the triple away and make it a double like the Strat computer does. I'm not going to allow the extra triple. It's a double, but I will allow Bell to score as if it was a triple. But I'm going to take the triple away from Witt and keep it as a double. I don't want Witt ending up with like 15 triples on the year due to the 50-50 mechanism. So got to keep something under wraps here. It's 11-4. 8-run inning so far for the Blue Jays. And they're still batting with only 1 out. So what was a nice tight game, like I like, is gone off the rails on the crazy train, the way Ozzy Osbourne would call it. 4-6, and that's going to be a walk. What else is new? Another walk. And Tom Kelly is beside himself. He may end up having Al Newman or somebody pitch one of these innings just to get out of this thing and get the game over with, so to speak. 1-5, and that's a ground ball shortstop A. They finally get out of it, a 6-4-3 double play. So even with the double play, the Blue Jays put 8 runs on the board. And they are just laying waste to the Twins by the score of 11-4. And Jim Clancy, the happiest guy in the building, now he can get the win. Almost assuredly he will get the win. Keith Atherton is going to come back out for the next inning. He'll absorb some more of the punishment. Somebody's got to eat these innings. Here's Randy Bush. Bottom of the 6th. And it's a wild one, to say the least. 2-8 for Bush is a ground ball to short. On away. That will send up Kirby Puckett. 4-8, and that's a 1-8 double. 9-20 is a fly to left. It'll be a double for Puckett on that double die of a 3. So Puckett doubles. Brings up Herbeck. Puckett not going to be held. Not in a 10-4, not in an 11-4 game. They're not going to hold him. 2-7, and doesn't matter about holding him. It's 2-7 is going to be a double or a single, 2 stars. That's a 4, so it'll be back-to-back doubles. That will score Puckett to make it 11-5. So in the Homer Dome, I guess the game is never over. Can't count anybody out because of the ballpark will allow the extra offense. Here's Gaetti. Clancy almost on the verge of needing relief himself. 3-3, and that's a split chance. 1-9 is a single. That's a 15, so he lines it to Fernandez at short. 2 away. And that brings up Roy Smalley, designated hitter, with Herbeck at second. No 2 outs. 6-4, switch hitter batting left is a fly to right field, and Ducey puts it away. Twins get a run, but it doesn't do much to the score. It's 11-5 after 6. Clancy's fatigue inning is the 7th, so they'll let him go 1 more inning, perhaps, depending on how he does. Atherton back out, and he'll be facing Orge. Sorry, did I get confused on? Let me check something here. Something on my score sheet doesn't look right. I got to figure this out. Let's see here. Let's do the fly out to right, and I got to go back and look at my game log because for some reason I think I just moved the cards. So Gruber, I thought Gruber hit. I may have hit Gruber instead of McGriff. I may have had two cards. I don't know for sure, but the way the game's going, I'm not going to go back and retrace it. I'm just going to let it go as is because it's out of hand anyway. So here is Gruber, 5-8, and that is a fly to center field. So Gruber is out. Here is Garth Orge. 3-6 for Orge. A 1-4 single. Anything else he lines to short, that's a 9, so he will line it to short. And they're hoping Atherton can get him through the 7th and then pitch somebody else in the 8th. Maybe Juan Berenguer can do the 8th and possibly the 9th. Certainly don't want to use Jeff Reardon in a game like this. That's for certain. So 2 outs, bases clear for the top of the order and Tony Fernandez. 3-4 for Fernandez. He will pop it up to second base, and that's going to be fielded by Lombardozzi. So it's a 1-2-3 inning here in the top of the 7th for Mr. Atherton. So nothing doing for the Jays. Not that they needed it. They're already ahead 11-5, so I think they're pretty comfortable at the moment. Clancy will come out. This is his fatigue inning, so they got to keep an eye on that. But we are at the 7th inning stretch, and as is tradition, we will go to Take Me Out to the Ball Game. All right, I did a truncated version just because the game is going on long enough and I don't really want to overdo it, as they say. So let's go ahead and try to finish this thing out. Hello, Frank. Good to see you. Unfortunately, not a close game as I had hoped, but can't always get what you want. But as Mick Jagger says, you can get what you need. All right. And Strat-O-Matic, I noticed, is having a free shipping sale. If you order over $100 in merchandise, they will ship it for free. So I certainly thought about it, but then I went to the website, looked at the seasons they had available, and there's really nothing there that's like, screaming at me to buy it. So yeah, the free shipping would be great, but I don't want to spend $100 on something I don't want just so I can get free shipping. But if you are in the thought process of ordering from Strat-O-Matic, now is the time to do it while they got free shipping, because the shipping can be outrageous. In fact, not can be, it is outrageous. But now is the time to strike if you so feel like indulging. But I just couldn't find anything on the Strat computer or on the Strat website worth buying. I've got enough seasons already. I don't even play, so I don't really need any more. 4-12, and that's a ground ball first base C. So Mr. Upshaw will field that and flip it to Clancy covering. 1 away, and that brings up Tim Laudner. I think we all wish that Canadian, but Strat has their own processes, and they limit their availability on seasons for whatever reason. They do it on purpose. I just don't know what the purpose is, but whatever. 3-4. For Laudner is a base on balls. Great game. Not so great on the business model, in my opinion. Other people may disagree, but that's just my opinion. Here's Greg Gagne. And like Replay Gamer said one time, if they went out of business tomorrow, it'd be a sad thing to see. But I've got so many seasons, I don't think I'll run out. 2-7 for Gagne, struck him out. That is strikeout number 5 for Clancy. Back to the top of the order for Lombardozzi. And with the score being 11-5, I don't think it's really a close game to worry about trying to really micromanage and pinch hit all over the place. I'm just going to let it ride. 5-6. Struck him out. There's a dot there, but he's not tired. He's in his fatigue anyway, but he only gave up 1 walk, so he's not tired. Strikeout number 6 for Jim Clancy. He's looking to go 6-1 on the replay and give Toronto their 20th win of the season. Puts them right up there with Milwaukee and the Yankees, that 3-way dogfight that they're having. So we go to the top of the 8th. Top of the 8th, and we'll get a new pitcher for the Twins. It will be Juan Berenguer. So Berenguer will be coming on to pitch, as that will be it for Atherton. And I'll probably start. I'm running out of room, so I'll probably start moving the things over here, so we can fit the 8th and 9th inning in on the video portion. All right, let's go to the Strat computer and get the final numbers on Atherton, because it's a mess and I don't feel like trying to do the math right now. Atherton went an inning and 2/3, gave up 3 hits and 2 runs. They were earned. Walked 1, didn't strike out anybody. All right, so we're going to Berenguer out of the bullpen for the Twins. And they're hoping that he can possibly finish this game out. Berenguer on the replay, 0-0 with a save, 5.23 earned run average, 21 innings pitched, 23 hits, 6 walks, 23 strikeouts. And he pitches to Ducey, 6'8", left-handed, and what do you know, another walk. So he can't throw strikes either. This is amazing. Here's Mosby. For 6, and that's a strikeout. So Berenguer does strike out Mosby. 1 away for George Bell. For 4 for Bell against Berenguer. Fly to center. That's Puckett. He's a 1 E6, so you know he's going to get to it with a 1. We're just checking the E. Well, we got to roll it because I got a runner on base. Could get a fly ball A, so got to roll it. 7. I think that's just an F2, I believe. But we could have had a 1-1. We could have rolled a 1 on the D20. Would have been a runner advance. But with a 7, it's an F2. That's an 11. Puckett's an E6. There is no 6 there, so it's a good play for Puckett. 2 down. And that will send up Ernie Witt. Ernie Witt. One 7 for Witt. Fly to right, ends the inning. We go to the bottom of the 8th. I have been considering doing a Strat-O-Matic rant video for some time. I don't know if I'll actually do it. Sort of similar to what ID did, but maybe, I don't know, maybe just different topics or different things. But somebody did ask me if I was going to do some sort of a video about things that tick me off in the hobby. This, Strat-O-Matic practices would certainly be right up there. All right, here's Clancy facing Bush, Puckett, and Herbeck. Sorry. It's all about the mighty dollar, all about the Benjamins, like that movie came out back in the 90s, I think it was. All about the Benjamins. 2-2. That's a ballpark home run for Randy Bush. 1-11, but that's a 12. And that's the kind of day it's been for the Twins. Bush will just miss it, and there's 1 away. Here is Herbie Puckett, rather. Kirby Puckett. 111, and that is a fly to left, 2 down. But I think the best you can do if you disagree with their practices is just don't purchase from them. That's the voice you can make, and it's a personal choice. You can do what you want. You can buy up from them. You can boycott them. You can do whatever you want to do. Free country, so you can do what you wish. 2-8, and that's a single to left field. Like I said, I've got enough Strat seasons. I don't need to buy any more. I'm not a fan of the modern game, so getting the newest season doesn't interest me at all. So here's Gary Gaetti, and I've got all the older seasons I really want as far as I know. Here's Gaetti. Clancy on the verge of being fatigued here. 1-9, and that's a ballpark blast. 1-11, and again, the double die comes up with a 12. Second time this inning, they lost a home run because the D20 was a 12, ballpark was an 11, where when the Blue Jays were batting, these numbers were lower. So once again, a deep fly to left, and that's going to end the inning. So we'll go ahead and pull Clancy. We'll cap him at 8 innings. No sense tiring him out. We'll go ahead and cap him at 8 innings, and they'll bring in some schlub to pitch the 9th. Clancy's going to go 8 innings. We'll get the full totals for Clancy. 8 innings pitched. 14 hits by the Twins, but they only got 5 runs out of them. Scattered a lot of hits. 3 walks and 6 strikeouts. We'll figure out who the new pitcher is going to be in the bottom of the 9th. Right now, Berenguer out. His second inning of work, and he'll be facing Upshaw. Upshaw, McGriff, and Gruber due up for the Blue Jays. Upshaw, McGriff, and Gruber. 1-8, and that's what do you know? Another walk. Unbelievable with all the walks. And it doesn't matter which pitcher it is, they're all walking guys. I believe that's now 13 walks issued by Twins pitching. Got 11 so far of the previous pitchers, and Berenguer's done 2. So that makes 13 walks. That's a little bit excessive. 1-8 is another walk. Make it 14 walks. 14 walks. I'm tempted to bring in a position player to pitch, but I'm going to try to let Berenguer pitch the 9th if he can. He does have fatigue of 3, so it's only his second inning. So hopefully he gets out of this mess. 5-3, fly ball right field X. That's Bush, but he's a 4, E6, so that 4 is problematic. That's a 6. That's trouble. 4 and a 6. Ooh, 4 and a 6 is a single 2 stars. That'll score a run. And we'll also move McGriff to third base. Now we're checking for an error. That's an 8, and he's an E6, so there's no error there, but it will be a single 2 stars to score another run. It's now 12-5. Favor the Blue Jays. 12-5, and here's Garth Orge. Still nobody out. Five, 4, and that's a fly ball left field B. Sacrifice fly for Garth Orge. That will score McGriff. It is now 13-5. 13-5, and Tony Fernandez, your batter. Only 1 out. 6-6 switch hitter batting left. That's a 1-13 double. 14-20 is a single. That's a 10. It'll be a double. Double 2 stars will put runners at second and third. And that's going to be it for Mr. Berenguer. Tom Kelly has seen enough to know he has seen too much. He is going to their bench, not their bullpen, their bench. And Dan Mann from Gladden will be the pitcher. Dan Gladden is the pitcher. So when a position player is pitching, we go to the Strat-O-Matic rule book. And when it comes up to a pitcher result, we're going to be using this card right here, or this chart right here, I should say. But Dan Gladden is going to be the pitcher. Berenguer can't do it, so Tom Kelly says, screw that. We're going to Dan Gladden. I'm not going to burn another pitcher. Obviously, Dan Gladden has not pitched in the replay as of yet. So, no record for him, obviously. Runner at second and third with one out. Infield is in, not that it matters. So 1-7, and that's yet another walk. Make it 15 walks now. That one is charged to Gladden. So 15 walks in the ball game for the Twins. Brings up Lloyd Mosby. He's already had a 2-run homer and a grand slam. He potentially could have another grand slam right here if he goes deep because the bases are juiced. I know I've never had 2 grand slams in one inning. And if he hits a grand slam, he will have 10 RBI on the day. Not saying it's going to happen, just saying it's possible, depending on how the rolls go. Mosby, 4-7, so we're under the position pitcher card on a 4-7, and lo and behold, it's another walk. What do you know? 16 walks have been issued. So Dan Gladden has issued 2 walks, one off the batter card and one off this position player pitcher card. It is now 14-5. Still only one out for George Bell. 3-9 for Bell. That's a pop up to first, infield fly rule. 2 down. And now the 9th man to bat in the inning, Ernie Whitt, steps to the plate. Blue Jays have 14 runs and only 12 hits, but they've been issued 16 free passes. I know that's a record for me. I don't know what the major league record is for walks, but this has got to be close. For 9 innings, anyway. 4-6, so we're under the position pitcher card on a 4-6, and that's another walk. What do you know? Another walk, and they batted around again. RBI walk from Ernie Whitt. Score is now 15-5. Dan Gladden is tired. But you know what? Tom Kelly says, I'm not using anybody else. You're out there for the duration, bud. Here's Willie Upshaw. Second inning, they batted around at the Blue Jays. They put up 4 runs so far. Bases are loaded with 2 outs for Willie Upshaw. Gladden hoping for something off the batter card. 3-8, he gets it. It's a ground ball to short to end the inning. So that's going to do it there. 4 runs for the Blue Jays. And we'll get the numbers on Berenguer and Gladden to finish out their miserable performance. Berenguer, an inning and a third. 2 hits, 4 runs, 3 walks and a strikeout. Gladden, 2/3 of an inning. No runs because all the runs scored were inherited and charged to Berenguer. He walked 3, didn't strike out anybody. So there you go. I've got it for actually 15 walks if I've got this correct. 15 walks, not 16, my bad. 15 walks issued by Minnesota pitching. Still might be a record for all I know. So now we're going to the bottom of the 9th. The Blue Jays actually need a new pitcher. A 15, Frank, that's still a record for me for sure on the replay. I don't know what I'm sure the major league record is probably like 20 something in 9 innings. I'm sure that somebody out there that had a rough go of it. So Jose Nunez, their mop-up guy, is going to get an inning pitched against the Twins. He'll be facing Smalley, Bernansky, and Laudner. So we'll get the numbers on Mr. Nunez. Nunez on the replay, 0-0 with no saves and 11.57 earned run average. Only 9 innings pitched, 13 hits, 12 walks, 10 strikeouts. Hello, Scooney. Too bad it's not, unfortunately, it's not a close game. It is 15-5 going to the bottom of the 9th. Twins batted around in the 6th and the 9th. 1-2, and that's a strikeout plus injury. So we're adding insult to injury to Roy Smalley. Yep, he's got to come out of the game, but the game's over anyway, so it doesn't really matter. He may as well go back to the clubhouse and take the rest of the game off. Here's Bernansky. Whoa, hop and dice, re-roll that. Bernansky, 3-4, and that's a ground ball to third for out number 2. On a brighter note, the Sparky Bowl will be tonight around 9 o'clock. Game 5, Reds trying to wrap up the World Series, the mystical World Series between the 76 Reds and the 84 Tigers. Reds lead that series 3-1, trying to wrap it up on the road in Detroit. Dan Petrie against Don Gullett, Game 5. 5-9, that's a strikeout, and that's an appropriate way to end the ball game. Nunez going to go a perfect 1-2-3 with 2 strikeouts to end the misery and get this game over with. Let's go to the box score. Blue Jays with the victory improve to 20-11. Player of the game, Lloyd Mosby, 2 home runs, 7 runs batted in. 7 runs batted in because he got an extra run batted in when he walked with the bases loaded. So the 2-run homer, 4-run homer, a 2-run homer, a grand slam home run, and a walk with the bases loaded give him 7 RBI. And it kind of overshadows a nice day by Kent Herbeck. He went 4 for 5 with 3 runs batted in, but when you got a guy with 7 RBI, it kind of overshadows that. Portugal takes the loss. He's 2-5. Clancy, the winner, 6-1. And let's see, no saves by any means. So for the Blue Jays, 15 runs on 12 hits and 1 error. For the Twins, 5 runs, 14 hits, and no errors. Twins drop to 15-18, and that finishes the block of May 13th games. They are now all in the books. So we go to the standings. In the American League East, Milwaukee in first place at 21-10. Toronto and New York are tied for second. Toronto's 20-11. New York is 21-12, both 1 game back. The Tigers sit at 16-16, 5.5 back. Those are the 4 teams over 500. Everybody else way out of it. In the West, Oakland leads the Western Division by 2.5 games over the Chicago White Sox. Oakland's 20-13. Chicago is 16-14. Kansas City is in third at 15-15, 3.5 back. Texas in fourth at 14-16, 4.5 back. And Minnesota now drops 5 games back with this 15-18 record that they now hold. And they have a half-game lead on California, who's 15-19. Seattle way down the dregs at 12-22. So there you go. May 13th is now complete. 16 walks by 1 pitcher. Wow, that's pretty wild. They would keep a pitcher in there long enough to give up all those walks. But don't know the situation that was going on, so you never know what the reasoning was behind that. We will be starting the May 14th block of games tomorrow. It's a limited schedule. Only 4 games are going to be played on the 14th. First of those will be Kansas City at Baltimore. Jeff Ballard and Brett Saberhagen. Second game will be from Yankee Stadium, the Texas Rangers and the New York Yankees. Ed Correa against Dennis Rasmussen. The third game will be from Comiskey Park. It will be the Cleveland Indians and the Chicago White Sox. Tom Candiotti against Joel Davis. And to wrap up the 14th, Toronto and Minnesota go at it again. Les Straker and Dave Steve. I can now fill in the records for Toronto because when I made these sheets up, this game had not been played yet, obviously, so I didn't know the records. So Toronto now goes to 20-11, and Minnesota drops to 15-18. So that's what's coming up over the next week, Strat-O-Matic-wise, on the channel. Today is Wednesday. I got to remember what day it is. Today is Wednesday. As long as I'm thinking it's Wednesday. I'm pretty sure it's Wednesday. So, again, tonight will be Sparky Bowl on Inside Pitch. Tomorrow morning, hopefully, I might try to do it in the morning, maybe around 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock, something like that. will be the Baltimore-Kansas City game in Strat-O-Matic. On Friday is Friday Fun Day, or Fun Day Friday, however you want to call it. And that's where I take a game I have not played in a long time and play it on the channel. And that will be on Friday, either noon, or I'm probably going to try for noon. I'm going to try for Friday noon. If Uncle Ron's playing a game, so be it. I'm just going to try for Friday noon. I'm not going to give away what the game engine is or the season. You'll have to find that out for yourself. The only hint I will give is that Ryan Sandberg will be in the game. So at least that gives you one of the teams and the era that it's going to be played in. So just don't know the game engine or whatever yet, or what season it would be. But Ryan Sandberg will be in that game. Then on Saturday, you've got the NBC Game of the Week, 1978 season ticket baseball. And the game this week will come from Cincinnati. It's the Philadelphia Phillies taking on the Cincinnati Reds. And that will be Jim Lonborg against Paul Moscow. That'll be on Saturday, NBC Game of the Week. So that's the tentative schedule for the channel the rest of the week. Sunday, who knows what. If the Sparky Bowl goes to Game 6, it'll be Sunday night. If the Sparky Bowl is over, then I might do something else on Sunday night. I don't know yet. Haven't decided. But we'll figure it out. So anyway, thank you all for spending part of your Wednesday lunch hour with me in this, despite the fact that it was a big blowout. Yeah, that's about it. Not sure what else to say. I don't want to ramble too long. But again, thank you all for your participation, your chat. It helps keeps things interesting for me, despite being a blowout. It gives me some back and forth to make. And of course, earlier in the game, we had a chance to look at the rule book a little more closely on steals. So that was always a good thing. And anytime you get a learning process, that's always a good thing. So I'll pre-fill in the records here for Saberhagen. He was 3-3. So I'll do a little pre-filling of the score sheet. I've already got it filled out pretty much, but this will be game number 226 on the replay. And let's get the wild pitch and balk ratings on Saberhagen. I wish they were on the cards, but for 87, they were not. Saberhagen 5 wild pitch and a 2 balk. All right, let's go to the Orioles. Well, I've already got Jeff Ballard because I already did his card. So Saberhagen, I didn't do his record, though. So let's go to Ballard, get his 1-loss record on the replay before I finish things up here. Ballard is 0-0. He's going to be making his second start. He's only made 1 start to date, and he got no decision. So as I look on the Strat computer for the upcoming game with Baltimore and Kansas City, I'm going to see if there's any roster changes of note where teams have added or dropped players. Let's see if it comes up for either team to have somebody I'm not used to seeing. There's been an addition or a subtraction. Let's take a look here first at the Royals. Nope, they're all status quo. Check the Orioles. Nope, Orioles are all set too. So there's been no roster changes going to that game from one day to the next. So that's going to do it from here. Hope you all have a very good. Let's see. I just I did not go into the 87 season and update any computer manager at all. Well, for one thing, I'm not doing a computer manager on here. I'm playing the games manually, so that's irrelevant. But other games that like the 77, I'm simming with the Strat-O-Matic for inside pitch. I did not go in and mess with any of the computer manager settings. I just went with the default settings, and I figured Strat-O-Matic should be realistic on its own without me having to tweak that. So I didn't really want to do that. You certainly can do that. The availability is there to do it. Say what you want about Strat-O-Matic. I mean, I can bitch and moan about their practices, but the game itself, the game engine, the computer game, talk about the computer game, make fun of the computer game all you want, but it is the most detailed and intricate of any sports computer game I've ever seen. You could do so many things with it. So, um, while on the one hand, you look at it from one side, the marketing and sales side, and say how you wish they did this, this, and this, but their programming and their game engines are so good that people will pay the extra money to get because the product is so good. It's worth it to pay the extra money to get what they offer. Yeah, it'd be nice if they, if you didn't have to buy the computer game every year, if you could just buy it and just buy the new season that comes out the following season instead of having to buy the whole freaking game over again when you already own the game. That would be nice, but that'll never happen. That ain't gonna happen. So, but if you want this season bad enough, the new season bad enough, then you pay the extra money and get it. So that's just how it is. Still my favorite game, no question about it. If my Desert Island game would be Strat-O-Matic, there's nothing that's not even up for debate. I mean, Inside Pitch is a nice game too, but if I could only have one, it would be Strat-O-Matic. That's just the way it is. If I could only have one game and one season to play, and I had to play that throughout the rest of my life, it would be the 1982 Strat-O-Matic season. That would be what I would choose. 1982 is my favorite season, and right there with 77. It's also a favorite season of mine is 77, but 82, I was a little bit more mature. I was a senior in high school, so I knew, a lot more of the players. I followed it that summer very, very closely. And they had really good, it was the first year Atlanta Braves came back to be a good team. After being bad for so long, they won the division, went to the playoffs. The Milwaukee Brewers had their Harvey Wallbangers, and that one game went down to the wire with the Baltimore Orioles for the AL East. And then the West, California Angels won that division in a close race. And then the ALCS with California and Milwaukee was really, really good. And of course, you had the 7-game World Series with the Cardinals and the Brewers, the most polar opposite teams you can think of. Harvey Wallbangers against the speed demons of Whitey Herzog. So 82 was I was 17 and that was my favorite season. I was 12 in 1977, so that's why that kind of is a favorite too. But as a kid at 12 years old, I really didn't understand a lot of the intricacies of baseball. I was just doing it, I just enjoying it because it was fun. And I was playing Little League, and I didn't really know that much about what I was doing. But as I got older, I started to appreciate the intricacies of baseball a little more. So 82 is my favorite. One of these days, I will do an 82 replay, probably a National League 82 replay. I don't want to do both leagues because it would just take way, way too long. Particularly when I start having other projects go with it. Right now I'm only on May 14th, so it's going to take a while just to do the American League. So, but one of these days I will do an 82 National League replay. That'll be like my Desert Island replay to do. It would be a 1982 replay. And I still think the Montreal Expos were the best team in the league, in either league, in 1982. They just didn't win the division, but to me, they had the best. If you look at the stats, you do sims. A lot of people do sims on these things. The Expos constantly win the East. When I did my NBC Game of the Week, the Strat computer simmed it, and the Expos won the World Series, or they made it to the World Series, and I played it out on the NBC Game of the Week, and the Expos won everything. So to me, the Expos were always, I don't know how they didn't win the division. I don't know if they had injuries or what, but to me, they had just had so many stars: Andre Dawson, Gary Carter, you name it. They have Steve Rogers. They have Jeff Reardon in the bullpen. There's just a lot of stuff, and it is Canadian. It definitely is. If you've got some skin in the game and you familiarize yourself with everything, it is really nice to play a season you really like. I really like 87 because I remember I just got out of the service and this was the first season. I'd been out of baseball watching for a few years. The 86 World Series got me back into baseball, and this was the season following that. And so I watched the Orioles pretty much every day. They were on TV pretty much every day, so I watched them, followed the rest of the league, through ESPN and whatnot. And so I really got to know the players very, very well in '87. The World Series was kind of a bummer. It was, Cardinals came in shorthanded by a few players, so that was the one where the home team won every game. So Minnesota, by the fact they're playing 4 games at home, won because when they went to St. Louis, they got killed. So I still think the Cardinals were the better team. I thought the Tigers would have beaten the Twins in the ALCS, but what do I know? Um, that's 7-game series. Anything can happen. But yes, '87 was my favorite for a while there because of just I wanted to play it. But since I did a 1987 Atlanta Braves replay in History Maker Baseball, I didn't want to do National League, so I went with the American League here. But I'm really missing being able to play games with the pitcher hitting and using that strategy. I don't really like the DH, so that's why when I finish this one, if I do another one, it would be the '82 National League, so I can have pitchers not hitting, or it would be an American League season before 1973, so that we don't have the DH because I really don't care for the DH. But that's just my preference. People like the DH, make it simple, go for it. But I just prefer the old school baseball of non-DH. All right, I didn't mean to ramble that long. Sorry about that, folks. Uh, Hope you all have a great Wednesday. The rest of the Wednesday for you. I gotta go. I'm past my lunchtime, so I need to go grab a bite to eat for lunch, and wrap this thing up here and shut everything down and whatnot, and get ready to. Well, I don't know if you call them insights or not, Canadians. Just my thoughts. I'm just kind of rambling, like I said. Mr. Gudeman, I hope you are doing well. I hope you feel better. And like I said, if you want to put out one of your games that's like a radio call and you just have the Strat-O-Matic symbol on the screen, I'd say go for it. I think I would enjoy that very, very much, just to hear your call on that. So that would be pretty cool, in my opinion. Um, I know you got to watch copyright stuff like that, so you can't really put a whole lot of other sounds on there. Maybe I guess you could do the ballpark ambiance in the background if you so chose. I don't think that's copyright. I think that's allowed. I don't know, but anyway, I do hope you are in good spirits, and hopefully, like I said, Strat-O-Matic's a good medicine. So when in doubt, roll out some Strat-O-Matic, and I do think that radio thing would be pretty cool to do. I'd almost be tempted to do it myself, but I don't know how well it would go with that if I did it. So because I don't know, I just don't know if it'll work well or not. It might. You never know. Never say never, as they say. So, like I said, Strat-O-Matic, if you want to buy from them, now's the time to do it because it's free shipping for over 100, anything over $100, and the season price. If you buy 2 seasons, you're way over $100 because most seasons are about 70, $60 to $70. So you buy 2 seasons, you've got your $100 right there. I just can't find 2 seasons I find worthwhile spending $100 for just so I can get the free shipping. If I had some seasons I was waiting to buy, I would jump all over it. And I still may. I mean, there's a couple seasons out there that I might consider. Um, 76 is one of them. 72 is another. Those are 2 seasons I don't have in Strat-O-Matic, and they're from the '70s when I was growing up. So that's a possibility. Uh, but I don't know. 72 because of the A's. I like the A's back in '72. '76, you've got the Big Red Machine. You've got the Yankees going to the World Series. You got Mark Fidrich, the Bird, different things there. So I may break down and buy if I get mentally crazy for 15 minutes one day. You may see a unboxing video of Strat-O-Matic that I bought with the free shipping, but don't hold your breath on that. I'm pretty cheap, and my cheapness usually overrides my excitement to get new stuff. So I don't know. We'll wait and see. Now that I'm retired, I got to watch the budget. So it's gonna see how I've got 73, Mr. Gudeman. That's for sure. It's a fun season. I did a NBC Game of the Week with 73. I like 72 though. I've got 71 and 73. Don't have 72. Don't have 70. They came out with 70, but I really don't know anything about the 70 season except for the World Series. Of course, I've got 69. I've got 67. 68 could be interesting just because it's so much pitching. So that could be interesting. But I've got 67 and 69 already. I've got 61, so I don't know if 62 would be interesting. I guess I could get 62 just for nothing else for the Mets. But is it worth $100? Is over $100 is the question. We all have to make those financial decisions, and see if it's worth your entertainment dollar. A boring season. I couldn't believe it. I mean, like I said, I was 5 years old in 1970, so I don't know anything about it. The only thing I know about 1970 is it was Brooks Robinson's showcase in the World Series, where he had all those great fielding plays, and they beat the Reds. But as far as the regular season go, I think 69 is a much better season. Even 71 with the Pirates, I think would be a better season, but that's just me. But that's the season Strat happened to choose. If they came out with 75, that'd be an instant buy for me. If they super advanced 75, I'd be all over it. But they don't. If they super advanced 79, I'd be all over it. But they haven't. So my two instant buys will be 75 and 79 if they up the ante on that. But they have not done so. So what are you going to do? All right, folks, I've rambled enough. I'm going to get going and check on Tabby the cat, see how she's doing. She might want some more food. And I've got to make myself some lunch so I can eat some food. Starting to get a little hungry from not eating, since this morning. So at least I get a little sandwich in me or something. Nothing major, but at least something to tide me over till dinner. So again, thank you all for spending part of your Wednesday afternoon with me. And like I said, next game will be tonight on the Sparky Bowl for Inside Pitch. But tomorrow, probably in the morning. Don't know when. If Mr. Guterman is doing something in the morning, I'll hold off and wait till lunch. But if it's not, the morning is open, there's nothing going on in the morning, I will probably do this Kansas City-Baltimore game around 9 o'clock. So until then, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and I will see you all down the road.